All right, everyone, first video featuring my new truck, new to me, '06 Silverado with the LBZ DURAMAX. Bought it 3 months ago. Honestly, it was like a side-of-the-road dealership, and they had just bought it at auction. It was kind of farm fresh, 83,000 original miles. That's kind of why I bought it. Grandpa Gold, I call it. Love the body style. So the purpose of the video is kind of to talk about the only major issue that I've had. I'm kind of finally here nearing the end of all the projects and upgrades I've been doing to it. So, the turbo, about 50 miles in, got two check engine lights on the truck, P003A and a P2563. Both are relating to the turbo and how the turbo isn't functioning 100%. Now, the truck, you could hear it whistle, you could feel it build boost, it drove totally fine. I didn't really know what to think, especially because I've had that truck for almost 4 years now. It's got a baby turbo on it, all totally stock, and I've never had to do anything turbo related or much of anything. So I was kind of worried, but I started watching all the YouTube videos, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about. So there's 4 things that I did before I ultimately, spoiler alert, had to replace the whole turbo. So, this is a first that I've ever had to work on a turbo. Before this, I had zero experience. So first thing, Amazon brand, I'll call it. It was a Chinesium, $50 turbo actuator, or sorry, not an actuator, vane position sensor. Screws right into the top up there, then plugs down there. Super easy. And it was the kind of thing, I pulled the old one out, and I had a bunch of grime around the tip here. Put the new one in, cleared the codes, and I thought, oh man, that's a relief. That was super easy. Probably 20 key cycles later, check engine lights, both came back. Then, more videos. This is a turbo actuator. Slides into the side, on the opposite side, and plugs in. And same kind of thing, I had pulled the old one out and had a bunch of grime on the end. And after this, cleared the codes, and the codes came back, a couple weeks later. Let's see, what was the third thing? I went and I bought Edge 3 monitor. The reason I bought it, well, I knew I was going to buy one eventually I was going to buy one, but I bought one because I wanted to see if it, A, was building boost, and secondly, if the vanes were opening and closing, because that shows the percentage of the vanes. So yes, it was building boost, and yes, the vanes were operating just normally. So at that point, I threw my hands in the air, and I took the truck to my local diesel shop here in Seattle. Diesel Dudes, I'll shout them out. Diesel Dudes in Seattle, Washington. And they basically said, based on the brands not being OEM, they would have suggested that I'd gone OEM, just because they've seen that actually makes a big difference before. Especially this being $50 Amazon random ass brand. And then I thought the Dorman would be okay. This was $150. Negative. So $200 down the drain. Then, before I bought the truck, someone had replaced the mass airflow sensor with this one. Like a $15 O'Reilly's brand, according to them. They sold me on a OEM mass airflow sensor. I think it was $400. They said whether it fixes a turbo or not, it's going to be a lot better than that one. And I said, okay, whatever. They had a strong feeling that it could help the turbo problems, because that's something they'd seen in the past. So I don't necessarily feel bad about that. Ultimately, we had to pull the turbo. They split it apart. I went into the shop to see it myself, and they gave me a full rundown on it, which was cool. Ultimately, it's called the unison ring that's in the center of this turbo that gets seized or stuck and gets, surface thrust on it. And just once that happens, the turbo's got to go. There's really no amount of cleaning it that's in reassembly that's going to make it like it was. I'm going to link an article down below to a website that's a quick read, and it's going to give you a much better example of what I just told you. But yeah, the unison ring, and mine was rusty, corroded, pitted, the whole inside of the turbo. It was just bad. I guess that was a downside of this truck being such low miles. Done a lot of sitting and maybe a lot of idling. So yeah, that turbo had to go. So what we went with, per their recommendation, that I'm not going to put big injectors in this thing or anything crazy. So directly from Garrett, we went with a Garrett. There's your part number, Reman, to save me some money. The price of the Reman, $11.95, and then a $375 core credit for the old one. And then it was 10 or 15 hours labor at the shop at, I think, $165 or $175 an hour. So you do the math, round numbers, $3,000 for the new turbo. But I'm not quite set up here to do that amount of disassembly and reinstall, especially. I don't know. It's a lot, right? Based on where the turbo is, that's just a lot. So I'm super happy I did it, and super happy they did such a clean job with it. And the turbo, like I said, directly from Garrett, so they're the ones rebuilding it, and it comes with a new Garrett brand actuator. And then I think I was sold either a Garrett brand or GM OEM vane position sensor. So probably 500 miles on the truck and since then, and I noticed the RPMs move more freely, I'll say, but and more whistle. Overall, you can definitely tell there's a difference performance wise. So yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to share about my experience with those two check engine lights. And there's quite a few videos out there of people replacing either A, the actuator, or B, the vane position sensor, and then they're clearing the codes and saying, oh, my truck's fixed, on to the next problem, when in reality, it's probably coming right back, because those check engine lights ultimately relate to the whatever the hell plate in the middle I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to link the article below. Great read. And yeah, very fortunately, that's the only major repair I've done so far. The very last thing is I'm doing a lift pump. I know a lot of people would have done a lift pump first, but I kind of had to fix a bunch of things before I'm doing a bunch of upgrades like that. So more videos to come. If you guys have experienced either of these check engine lights, please comment below, because I'm curious to know if you got anything negative to say to me about my fix. I don't know what you would say that would be negative, except that you would have done it yourself. Good for you. But comment below, and more videos on this truck to come. Thank you.